promised myself 12 months ago that I wouldn't drink again.
Welcome back to Still Not Drunk, the podcast about drinking by a comedian who doesn't drink. That's me, Aidan Jones, and I'm here with you today for episode 3. Mwah. Oh my God. How do people inject energy into this without just feeling like an idiot? Anyway, don't worry about any of that. I'm cool. I'm calm. I'm free of anxiety. Today on the podcast is Jordan Barr. Jordan Barr is a fantastic comic from Melbourne, and she's been around for a few years now. I think I was saying in the podcast we met kind of just before the pandemic, like I've properly met. We had a sick chat. We talked about Jordan was really into musical theatre when she was younger, and she thought that was going to be her career. And so we kind of talked about the process of her, I guess, like struggling to let go of that dream for a future, and then starting to think about stand-up comedy as being the path that she was going to go on, and the period in between there, and the fear of like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? I thought I was going to do this thing, and now I'm slowly accepting that it's not going to be that. And just like, I mean, you know, for me, the way that I always deal with anxiety like that is through drinking. That was how I used to do it. So we talked about that, and we talked about all those triggers for drinking. And Jordan does drink still now, but I think from what she said, she's kind of changed her relationship with the booze, which is sick. What else am I going to tell you? This episode, we drank Strange Love Coastal Tonic mixed with the Imposter Limefinger Counterfeit Gin from Artisan Distillers. So at the start of the episode, I thought we were just going to drink the tonic, and then I realized that it wasn't even like a pretend alcohol-free alcohol thing. It was actually just a tonic, and I was like, well, I've got some gin, so let's fucking mix it up. And it was really good. I actually loved it. I was so skeptical about some of the alcohol-free spirits, but the Artisan Distillers gin there was really nice, and we mixed it up, and that was sick too. I do want to do a shout out before the episode to anadrinks.com.au, who are the sponsors of the podcast, and they provide us with all of our alcohol-free drinks. They're online. Anywhere in Australia, you go on there and they'll deliver to you any alcohol-free drinks you can think of. So hit those guys up, anadrinks.com.au. And I think that's it, mate. If you're liking the pod, 5 stars on iTunes or Spotify, please. The Instagram is Still Not Drunk Pod. I've got another podcast called Sitting Under a Tree, which is me by myself every Tuesday telling stories about the week, if you're liking that. And follow Jordan on all of her socials as well. They'll be in the show notes. I should say them right now, but I didn't fucking write them down before I started doing this. And as much as I've been berating myself, I actually feel like this intro is going pretty well. So I am not refilming it. All right. Thank you guys very much for listening, and enjoy this chat between me and Jordan Barr.
My day is good. It's been a very lazy, chill day. I had some work to do this morning and smashed that out, and then I just came here. I feel like I've literally rolled out of bed, did some typing, and now I'm in Coburg.
You look very comfy when you get out of your car. You were napping in the front of the car. That's such a vibe.
I just I feel happy and normal, but I also am if there's a seat, my whole body will flatten.
100%.
You know what I mean?
When I can't remember, I was driving back from Wagga. I did gigs in Wagga last year, and you know when you the drive and then the time of the day, schedule of the day was I'll get back to Melbourne and then there's an hour and a half and then I'll have to drive to this other gig. Mm-hmm. And I just noticed myself getting tired. I just pulled over on the highway and just slept in the front of the car for an hour.
Yes.
In a sunbeam.
Oh my God.
Joy. Yeah.
I do it all the time. You can feel the car shake as the trucks go by. Sometimes people beep you because what you're doing is really dangerous. I loved it. I used to do it all the time because I used to work in, used to teach before school classes in Bendigo.
Yep.
so the classes started at 7, but I was in Melbourne, so I would drive 3 hours every morning to get to Bendigo by 7 a.m. and then the class is done by 9.
Sick.
And then go back to Melbourne, and then I'd be so fucking exhausted on the drive home.
So what
I'd have to pull over.
What were you teaching in Bendigo?
Just acting, drama
Really?
classes. Yeah.
Have you been like an actor forever?
Pretty much. I mean, I just always did acting at school and stuff like that. Because I just couldn't fucking like do normal stuff.
Like stage acting?
Yeah, and like musicals and stuff.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that about you. Nah.
It's what I did, and I also used to do, because I was more of a singer. I was always singing, and then I went to drama school and liked acting more, and then I just kind of auditioned for like 2 years and then was like, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, really? You didn't love it?
Well, because I also with musicals, like I had to like, with all the rejection that you get, and I can't dance.
No.
I cannot dance.
Can you
Aidan.
sing?
I can sing.
You sing.
But like dancing is like, and you can't get into a show, like especially if you're starting an ensemble without being able to dance. So I just like had so many funny, stupid auditions, and then I was eventually like, I can't do this anymore. And like, what's the goal to like get into, like for it's not appealing to me, it's appealing to some people, but like you get into these contracts and then you perform the same show 8 shows a week, and sometimes like they get you to it's in your contract to emphasize a certain word a certain way, the same way that somebody in New York did it like 10 years ago in the original production.
Really?
You have to like gesture the exact
It's
same
in your
way.
contract.
Yeah, it's like cookie cutter musicals.
How long are these contracts?
Sometimes like 2 to 3 years.
No. Like, I mean, the document.
Oh, the document. Nah, I don't know. I don't read them. I don't get them. I never got any offers.
Never seen it, mate.
I'm hearing this from other people.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, it's insane. But yeah, so I did like one of my jobs that I've done is just teaching drama to
totally.
kids, but like just like extracurricular and sleeping on highways.
Yes, that's sick, man. Is that how you got into stand-up? Through the drama thing?
Kind of.
Because I guess stand-up is the antithesis of having to emphasize the same word the same way every time, because you get to go on and do it however the fuck you want.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was always a comedy fan, like, and I kind of didn't realize that until I started doing comedy. But like, my friend and I used to like email each other YouTube clips and shit, like literally via Hotmail. And then I'd always got like comedic parts at uni and stuff like that. And then I went to New York and I saw a bunch of stand up, and it was kind of like, what am I like even worried about? I should just start.
Yeah,
and then
totally.
Started doing it.
That's sick, man. Good
and
for
much
you.
prefer it to everything else. But yeah, anyway.
I want to ask you a bit more about where you grew up and shit, but first, let's open our little bevs.
Yes.
Oh, that was so hard.
Thank you. What a pretty dainty little bottle. This is gorge.
So we are drinking, this is Strange Love Coastal Tonic. Now, I should have done some research, but I think Strange Love make a bunch of other stuff. Have you heard of Strange Love before?
Yeah, I have. I feel like I've had their other tonics, like regular tonic.
Yes. Yeah. Not Coastal.
Not Coastal Tonic.
I actually don't know if this is supposed to be a alcohol-free beverage or if it's just the tonic.
It might be the mixer.
It might be the mixer.
No, but people do that though. Like
they drink these as like a betweenie.
Tonic. Yeah.
Do they just drink tonic?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've actually ever just drank tonic at all in my life, period, when I was drinking or otherwise.
Yeah, true. I'm a huge gin and tonic gal, so this is
sick.
But are you looking at the ingredients? We've got
what do we got,
mate?
You know,
water, sugar, tick.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go rogue because you just said you're a gin and tonic gal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the bottle of gin that I have.
Yes.
I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to get us some glasses.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm going to keep talking. We've got Sicilian lemon extract, sea salt, thyme, something called cinchona, sea parsley, and saltbush. Sea parsley.
Sea parsley.
Oh
that must be, is that like seaweed? Are they trying to say seaweed?
Yeah.
I'm such a cynic. Every time I say it, I'm like, he's trying to say fucking grass, cunt.
Literally though. Oy. That's hectic. How long have you not been drinking for again?
It has been 4 years in June.
4 years. This is all good shit. Yes. Where did you get this gin from?
Well, Jordan. That is a great question, and it leads me into a word from our sponsor.
Yes.
A&A Drinks are great. They're like an alcohol-free bottle shop online, anadrinks.com.au. You can order all your shit from online. They have a massive range of everything that you can possibly get, wicked prices, and they're legends.
Oh my God,
so I got
good.
all this stuff from anadrinks.com.au.
Amazing.
Big shout-outs to them. Now, we can just have, this is The Imposter. This is Lime Finger Counterfeit Gin
I feel like that's
from
gonna
Artisan Distillers.
that'll match perfectly with sea parsley and
You reckon it will?
saltbush. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's find out, dog. Maybe we can have a bit of the gin by itself and then mix the tonic in with it. What about that?
True. Great. Did you know that back in the day, sex workers used to drink gin because they thought that it would kill the babies?
Really? Kill the semen.
Yeah. So
The
they'd be
semen from the
maggoted
semen.
on gin, but it didn't work. Cheers.
Cheers, dog.
Ooh, that's got a bit of tang
That
to
does
it.
have a bit of a heat to it.
Yum yum.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that's the best alcohol-free spirit I've had
Yeah.
because it tastes like there's
It
some kind of
adds-
heat to it.
I feel like it's got a bit of spice to it,
Yeah.
which is really nice. My friend, they're actually pretty good. I feel like gin is probably I'm gonna add the mixer.
Yeah. Put the
I
mixer.
feel like gin is a good alcoholic free option. My friend is proud A&A gal. And has been for a while now. I think she just celebrated her 5 years, which is great.
Nice.
But she always has these really nice like botanical gins.
Yeah.
And they're all like alcohol free, obviously.
mhm.
And it just tastes like a nice drink.
That is very yummy. You know what, Jordan? I'm
Yummy.
starting to notice. I think what I do, this is big therapy head talking, is I project my shit onto other people and then think that they're gonna think that. So every time I've had someone in here, I'm like, look, man, if you don't like it, you can say, like, feel free to say. You know, like I'm setting people up to be
of
like,
course.
but actually I think I'm just really skeptical of any alcohol-free products that aren't the beers because I love beer and I love
Yeah.
drinking the beers and they're so effective for what I want them to do.
Yeah.
And I just went into this thinking like, oh man, it's not going to be good. It's going to be watery. It's sick.
It's actually really
It's
great.
actually really tasty.
And do you know what it does? It's the tonic. It's just a nice fizzy drink. Like, you
But
can't
it's
go wrong.
not. It's not necessarily like too sweet that you would just smash it down because that's always my fear with the ones that aren't beers.
Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't necessarily scull this.
Oh, that's true. Because I was
That's the
thinking,
problem.
I feel like if I stopped drinking alcohol, I would really struggle to just have alcohol-free beer. I feel like I would be on the soft drinks and stuff like that. But you're right.
Right.
It doesn't sit like you can't. Like you can really nurse a beer for a while, and that's
That's
what's
the
nice
whole point.
about it.
Yeah, and also there's something about like if you're at a party drinking a Coke,
Yeah.
it's like, why is that guy drinking a Coke?
And if you're like knocking back like 4 or 5 Cokes, even though it's probably just as bad for you as beer, if not,
Yeah.
beer's probably worse. You
Yeah.
still look like a serial killer.
And you're gonna have that fuzzy tooth shit
You
that you get.
can't,
You don't want to be dealing
yuck.
with fuzzy tooth.
No, absolutely not. Oh yeah, actually, yeah. Someone like knocking back a bunch of Coke Zeros at a party makes me think that they're like a
Yeah.
sex pest.
But-
Like,
yeah, totally. It's like you're really trying to stay sober.
yeah.
You fucking creep.
Don't trust it.
Did you grow up in Melbourne?
Yeah, I lived in Sydney till I was like 7.
Okay.
And then we moved to Melbourne, but I don't really know.
Because I want to ask you about your drinking history. So,
Oh,
like, whereabouts in Melbourne
true.
were you? What was the vibe when you were in? Did you start drinking in school?
Yeah, I started drinking quite early. I started maybe like 13. That's when we started like sneak. It was because there was this like one girl in our group. I swear to God, if she wasn't there, we wouldn't have started until like at least 15.
Uh-huh.
But there was just this one chick who was just like, whenever we went to her house, we like snuck out, hung up with the Donny boys. I couldn't tell you their names.
Donny is in Doncaster?
Yes,
Yeah.
Doncaster
okay.
boys. And then I was always terrified, but I loved the thrill of like escaping. And we'd sneak out and we'd just drink shit from like her like mum's spirits, and then you'd fill it up with like water and
Yes.
stuff like that. The classic
I
scenario.
100% did that. My parents had a bottle of Midori in the little cabinet under the thing that I reckon someone gave them, and I was just for about 2 months watering it down till the point when it was
Yes.
just like kind of like just translucent,
Yeah.
a memory of green, you know.
Oh my god, Midori as well.
Yeah.
You
The
can't
grossest. Who's given
hide.
the like some fucking loser gave my parents Midori.
Yuck.
Because you went to an all girls school though, hey?
For a bit, and then I went to my high school was co-ed,
Okay.
but my primary schools were. I went to like 5 primary schools.
Yeah.
But the like the vibe of it was a private co-ed school, so it was like people were stealing from their parents' cabinets a lot of older siblings out there buying alcohol for us, and also like when we used to like sneak out, we used to just hang out up the road from like a bottle-o and then just like wait for like someone who we thought looked nice, and it had to be
Totally.
a dude because the girls never bought, and we had to wait for them, and then we'd be like, hi, could you buy us some alcohol? We just want like a couple packs of cruises.
Wow.
But I was such a coward. My friends always went, and I was always like, I'll just like keep lookout in the bushes. But it's because I was so scared of like,
Totally.
I don't know what. But like the fuck thing was like we always went to boys. We were like 13, 14 years old, and we'd be like, yeah, we're 17. We just want.
Wow.
We're so close to being 18. We're actually going to an 18th, and we just want some alcohol.
And were you going to an 18th? Where were you
No,
going? What were
we
you
just-
doing?
We were gonna go like drink and then like sit in our home.
Yeah, in your home,
Yeah, just like at someone's house.
not the
you know?
park.
Sometimes the park, but we'd always end up back at somebody's house.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
which is good. But yeah, drinking like fairly early on, and then
Yeah.
just kind of continuing
And
that.
getting drunk. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I remember the head spins. Do you remember when you first started drinking? You had the head spins when you went back.
totally.
A lot of that. But we used to just like drink. Like it was that thing where it was like, I don't know if anyone is. It was just like the sake of like being cool, I guess. I don't know. Like I remember going to this girl's house and we were just like gonna watch Gilmore Girls, and she was like, I poured like a bottle of Baileys into this water bottle, and we were just sitting there and we
And you
like,
passing around a water bottle with Baileys
with
in it?
Baileys.
Yeah.
Like just like what?
Because that was what she could get her hands on.
If somebody like nowadays, if somebody was like, I've got Baileys, actually I'd probably do it. But like I still am like, we did not need to do that. There was nothing cool about that.
Yeah, totally. But you just do it because you're like, everyone's doing it. Or
Yeah,
like people
yeah.
are drinking.
People are drinking.
People
Get
are
on board. And I
drinking,
love
man.
it. And I love drinking.
Yeah. You know what? That you bring up an interesting point about like, would you drink now the way you did then? Because I guess the way you drink now is like you go out or you hang out with mates, but like maybe it's because you can't get your hands on it that it's like this. Like I remember taking a water bottle of that Midori to a party and
Yeah.
cracking it out in like some gross fucked, like a Mount Franklin bottle that's all mashed up, and you pull it out and everyone's like, yes, man.
Yes, you felt like a king. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't drink like this, like the goon bags and stuff as well that you drink.
Yeah.
And we used to make this concoction that would get you fucking wasted, where you'd have a goon bag, you let out a tiny bit of the wine, and then you put in Red Bull, and then you put in a little bit of iced tea, and you honestly only needed like a dash of Red Bull and a dash of iced tea to like cancel out the wine flavor.
Totally. So that you can just get it down.
And
hey.
then you just get it down the hatch. And it was gross. But I never got, the first time I got drunk enough that I vomited and was like actually really maggoted was probably like in the first couple weeks of uni, like
Yeah, okay.
orientation
Oh,
stuff.
so through school you're just having little sips.
Yeah, I get drunk, but not enough to like get like I felt like I would always get to the threshold of being like, ugh, and then I'd always step back and stop drinking.
Yeah.
Because it was more of a control thing. And then when I left
Ah.
high school, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm crazy.
Were you a good like kid in school? It sounds like you were staying in the bushes. You were like, don't want to
Yeah.
get in trouble.
I didn't want to get in trouble, but I wanted to reap the benefits.
of being cool.
Yeah.
Is that the benefit?
The benefits you just drink. Yeah, I don't think I was a good kid in school for sure. And I did a lot of extracurricular stuff. I wasn't a particularly good student. Like I
Nah.
never like handed in shit.
But
And
they were like, Jordan Barr, she's nice.
she's nice.
She's a nice girl.
But yeah, I always assumed that I was like a nerd in school, which I definitely was. But then on the other hand, we like the group that I was in, we were smoking and
Yep.
drinking from like a young age. It just seemed like that was the thing to do. Like
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
get
yeah.
like my partner didn't have a drink until like they were 18, and like there were a few people that I've met who were like, yeah, I waited till I was 18. And I was like, that just like wasn't normal.
What were you doing?
Literally.
What were you doing all those times? There was some point in high school when I was doing heaps of extracurricular stuff, and then it just switched, and it's like, I'm not going to soccer anymore. I'm going to parties every weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, every weekend is like another struggle of like, where are these drinks coming from? Who's getting them? And then you get there and you're just like, how can I not even drink them all, but just have everyone think that I drank them all?
Yes, totally. And I don't know, it just really did, like, it didn't feel at the time like we were doing anything like cool or dangerous. It was just like the norm, which is probably like just the drinking culture in Australia. Like my parents bought me alcohol from when I was like 16 for parties and stuff like that.
Do your parents drink? Are they like drinking people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like party drink?
Yeah. And like what social drinkers, they'll sometimes like dad'll sometimes have like a whiskey and stuff alone. They've never been like, I've never been worried about their drinking, but they're definitely like, my family are like big drinkers. Like when we get together, it's always like a gin and tonic and some wine. And there's definitely probably like a history of alcoholism like further back, but not. I've never they're big drinkers, but I've never been.
There was no like
worried.
person in your family that people were like, oh, they're fucking bit drunk, that guy.
I mean, yeah, like everybody's got a couple uncles.
Oh, really? My grandpa, I remember always being like, my grandpa was a shearer in like North Queensland.
Oh my God.
And he was always, I think he used the word soak. He was like, some of those guys, mate, they're bloody soaks out there.
Yeah.
If they're like, too drinking. He was always like wagging or like, the stout, he makes stout. He's like, the stout, it's good stuff. You don't drink it to get drunk. You enjoy it. It's too good.
A stout is a meal. You know what I mean?
Stout, man.
I do love a stout, actually.
So
do they have alcohol-free stouts?
Oh, do they fucking ever,
Because
bro?
I was going to say that is another one that would be good alcohol-free.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's my favorite shit.
That's so good.
I think when I was drinking, I started to get onto the stouts just before I quit. And so that was like, I can't tell whether it's because the alcohol-free stouts are particularly good or if I just inherently love a stout. But I love the stouts, man.
So good.
Yeah, there's like a galactic milk stout by Big Drop. It's phenomenal. It's like this purple can. I love it.
Yes.
So you're going to uni and then you're getting fucked at uni.
Yeah, and just like, not like, my uni course was really intense as well, and we kind of got like everybody was a bit like hoity-toity when you like were maggoted or if you went out and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. What were you doing at uni?
I'd studied musical theatre, so it was like Monday to Friday, like 9 till 6:30. Just like it was like a movies where they go to like performing arts schools and stuff like that. So it was like singing, dancing, and acting, and like it was a big focus on like fitness and on like just like and just being so on top of it and working like above and beyond like the actual curriculum, like because you needed to stand out and stuff like that. So like there was just a period of time. I think first year I really struggled because all of my friends from high school and stuff, I wanted to go out and get maggot and have a good time with them. But then I would come to uni and everybody would be like so much more prepared than I would be. And I was like falling behind. And then second year I kind of stepped into gear and I really stopped drinking for a while.
Because you were taking the career like really seriously.
Yeah, because I just was like, I'm sick of like embarrassing myself at uni.
Was that the thing? Did you see yourself as like, this is my career, musical theatre, I'm going in that direction?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I can't do anything else now.
Yeah, really?
I've done this. Because the course is so stupid. Like you don't do any written work. It's all practical.
Right.
Like you're not built up. I mean, sure, we got like other skills, but like, I don't know. And then by third year, like that was when everybody was having 21st, and that's when I started to like let loose a little bit more again, which was fun.
Were you really close with that group of people? I actually, I remember going to uni and being like weirdly jealous of people who had courses where, because I just did a Bachelor of Arts, so you do all different things. So you're in classes with different people. Yeah. And I remember looking at like nursing students or like medical students who have the same group and being like, man, they're so tight. Was yours like that?
Yeah, there were 18 people in my year.
Damn.
Yeah.
Were and you then, still... Oh, go, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, but then like what? Like where did... Because I remember my friend did arts at Melbourne Uni and was like... I remember once being like, oh, yeah, there were like 300 people in my lecture today.
Yeah, totally.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's cooked. And you're just like... Are any of these people... Oh, yeah, I felt very lonely at university. Yeah. And I was doing pretty good, but like I was just like, I don't know these people. I'd go to the bar, drink with some friends, whatever.
Yeah.
But Yeah.
And the expectations are weird because you like walk in being like, this is where people find their and I think back in the day it might have been.
Yes.
But the way that they've restructured it, you just don't know anyone unless you like join a society or something like that. But no, we got to know each other. Super.
Yeah.
Like we're all still
mates.
Still mates, still enemies, whatever.
Still enemies.
You know, some of
yes,
it,
the rivalries.
It's very funny. I don't have any enemies because by the end of it, I was like, "What the fuck
Yeah,
is
okay.
this job?" But it was crazy. But yeah, I think towards the end of like third year, it felt like there were a few like just going to 21st and just letting loose a little bit more and just like being like, I just want to have some fucking fun. It's been too hard.
So you just took your shit real seriously for a couple of years, stopped drinking, and was like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
But you can't do it forever.
Exactly.
Nah.
And I was just also, it was more just like, I just wanted to have like a good time. And I could have not gone hard on the drinking, but at the time I was like, that's what I'm going to do, which is crazy. Did you drink much? Did you like go out to like uni parties and stuff?
Not uni parties so much. Like I was at the bar a bit. I don't know. I think as you were saying that, I was just reflecting that like maybe uni wasn't for me. Like maybe the reason I didn't find people was just that it wasn't. I was like clubbing, man. My life when I was at uni, my life was all my other mates who I met nightclubs and like drug dealers and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I dropped out. I never finished my degree. I don't have a degree. I dropped out. And then I was clubbing. I started comedy and I moved to Melbourne and I didn't get into Melbourne uni and I threw my toys out of the pram. I was like, fuck all of uni then. I didn't get into Melbourne. So fuck ever getting an education.
So see you later.
Yeah. And I'm just going to be a fucking open mic comedian.
Yes.
But so you started drinking more, and then at what point did musical theatre kind of fall away? Because we started talking about that before.
I don't know. I think like probably like a couple. When did I graduate? I graduated in 2014, and then I was just like working hospo. Hospo, like that'll get you drinking.
That'll get you fucking drunk, dude.
Me. I'd have like 2 pints, and then I'd be like, I'm like, especially after like a 12-hour shift or whatever, and I'd just be like, well, I may as well keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
Hospo will also scare you off drinking though, because you see because like university, there's like an age that you do it, you go through it and then you're done. Hospo, you can stay there for your whole life if you want.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
And you get like the old heads who are like, I remember working with some dude who was like the boss of this cafe I worked at in the city, and there was a bar like 3 doors down. And I remember after my first shift, he took us there and he was like, welcome to my lounge room.
Oh, bro.
You're like, no, dude, no, I don't want that.
No, yeah, that's exactly it. That's what the vibe is. Oy, oy, oy. But yeah, then I went to the States for a holiday in like 2017 and just like and I was already like, I listened to so many comedy podcasts. I always like wanted to do like comedy writing, and I was already shifting away from like auditioning for musicals and stuff because I was like, it's just like, especially I remember once I had to do a dance call for West Side Story, and I was like, I am not Puerto Rican or a dancer.
What's a
like,
dance call? Tell me.
Like that's just a dance audition. So there's like 40 or 50 people in a room. You learn choreo in like 20 minutes, and then they scoot you through and you do it in groups of 3.
Whoa.
In front of a mirror.
You've never learned any of this stuff before. You just get there, they teach it to you, and then you just got to bang it out.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
It's like it's pretty intense. And it can be a bit of a cattle call as well. Sometimes they purposefully call you in, and sometimes they're like put a random call out and you're in there with like 60, 100 people, and you're like, fuck.
And you just have to stand out somehow.
Yeah. And then they hire like for an ensemble, like for something like West Side Story, they'd have like 6 girls in the ensemble.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
So I think I was like, I am just like publicly humiliating myself at all these auditions. It's not good. And I got close to a couple of shows. Oh, not that close. I don't really think. Anyway, I just like went to the States, saw a bunch of comedy, went and did a like 3-day course at Second City.
Sick stand-up course?
No, improv course.
Okay.
I'd never done it before, but was just like already having fun. I was like, what the fuck am I worried about? I'll just start. And then I came back and then I like signed up to do raw comedy and then just did that. Because the best. Like, it was just so fun.
Was there a period in between there when you were like, I've given away musical theatre, but I haven't picked up comedy yet, that you were like, what am I doing?
I would do like a couple auditions here and there.
Right.
But I was still like, because I wasn't like, when I started doing comedy, I wasn't like, this is my career now. I was like, I'm just trying some stand up and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
something
yeah.
will come from it. And also
Yeah.
like, I remember like the first year I did comedy, I was like, I'm doing stand up. But when I look back, I reckon I did like maybe like one gig every fortnight,
Yeah,
if that,
sure.
or like once a month.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I wasn't fucking doing
Yeah,
it. Like,
'cause I remember you from when did you start?
like 2018.
I reckon I remember you from real early on and seeing you around and stuff, but only started seeing you more like maybe just before the pandemic or something like that.
Yeah. I feel like I was like, no, if I'm going to, because I just didn't think that, I didn't know. Like once you like when you start like gigging in the, like every night out and
Yeah.
doing the open mics and stuff like that, then you realize like that's how you make it work. But yeah, there was like definitely like a period of time where I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I think I went back to uni. I went back to uni to get like a master's in media because I was like, I want to work in like television or in writing or something. Anyway.
Did any of those theatre people who you did that 18 cohort go on to work in musical theatre?
Yeah,
What
a
are they
lot of
doing?
them. Like a couple of them have been leads. One of my friends in the UK doing it, and then there's two of them in the UK doing it, and that like a lot of people in my year level have like gone on to have like really good careers, which is psycho.
What's the culture like in that world? Are they out partying all the time? Is that what that world is like?
I think it is like that once you have the job. I think that like when you're at uni and stuff like that, it depends on the cohort. Our year level, we were like, everybody was just like real like type A personality and like
What does that mean?
just like really like controlling and anal and like
okay.
yada yada. But then like we were also the only year there because the course got cancelled for a couple of years, so we were the only like 18 people doing that
in the
course.
whole university doing that course.
And then when the younger year levels came through and they were going out and partying, and I was like, oh my God, finally my people. Like I was like, this is great. This is fun. So people definitely go out and get hard. And then there's some people who are like hardcore and drink like a green smoothie every day and go to like 4 Pilates classes and do ballet and all that shit. And they're amazing because of that. And then there are people who go so hard, go out, roll into their fucking hour call, maggot it, and then they pull out the most incredible thing you've ever heard, but just because they're like built different. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Do you still love that world? Do you still fucking go and watch? I don't know that I've ever even seen musical theatre, to be honest.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, why would you unless you like wanted to? Like, you know what I mean? It's not something you stumble on. Like,
how did you stumble on it?
I think my mum took me to see Annie. I still love it. I actually love it now more than I did. Like when I was at uni and when I was auditioning, I never listened to any like musical soundtrack.
Yeah.
I fucking hated it. Hated singing. I hated doing it. And then the second I quit and decided I wasn't doing it, I like love it so much more.
Yeah.
Because it's not like...
Because it's not the whole life thing.
Yeah. It's not like monetized or anything like that.
It's so interesting to me just because like the thing for me that I reckon saved me from being a complete fuck up is doing stand up, because like when I was 18, 19, 20 clubbing and like at uni but like not really paying much attention to it, and I was a smart kid so I kind of managed to fake my way and not fail.
Yeah.
But a lot of my friends were in a really heavy drugs, and I think the thing that stopped me from going down that road was having something else to focus on.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, I guess, interested in that period when you went away from doing musical theatre, but before you started stand-up. Did you ever feel like rudderless? I found that very scary, the idea of not knowing what I was going to do. I don't know that I accepted it at the time, but now I look back and I'm like, I was really scared because I didn't know what to do in my life. So I think I just started drinking and taking drugs.
Yeah, that's true. I think the peak of my, like, probably the most I was drinking, to the point where I was like, I would wake up and then check my phone and be like, fuck, I hope I didn't text anyone. Like, you know that fear where you're like,
yeah.
I probably felt like the most like rudderless or out of control when I was, or like when I'd left uni and I was auditioning for shows and I was hating it. I wasn't convinced when I was like in my 3rd year as well that I even really wanted to do it. But I was like, I've worked this hard, and that's half of it, is like, you're like, I've put so much like time and effort and money and like all this shit into like this dream, and then you're kind of like all of 3rd year I was like, I don't really want it, and then you just like lie to yourself because you're like, I can't admit that I don't want it, and then when I was like auditioning, getting rejected all the time,
and like realizing that Would you say
Yeah.
you can't dance? You don't like dancing?
I can't dance at all.
No?
I'm terrible at it. Terrible at it. Like I once had a tap assessment in second year where my teacher was laughing so hard he couldn't assess me. He made me go to like the back of the room and face the corner like the Blair Witch Project, and everybody else had to like do the assessment, and he was like, you can't. And every time I came around to do it, he like couldn't. He was like,
He was laughing.
He was laughing so much. It was very funny. Like if I
You
really
really are that bad.
so bad and fully like.
What is it about the dance? Is it the
It's
rhythm? Is
it's-
it the body awareness or something?
It's all of the above. It's like I can't. It's like I can't do choreography. Like I can't remember it.
Yeah.
I also have no sense of timing.
Oh.
So it's like.
Have you ever done like lip
horrific.
sync battle or whatever?
I
want to see
won
you-
lip sync
Oh,
battle
did
last
you?
year.
Oh fuck! I didn't even know that.
Um,
Shame on me.
shame on. I literally shame on you.
I want to see you dancing now.
It's so funny, and even in that, it was like the simplest dances, and I was like. Sorry, it's visual, but
yeah. Hey man, we're on
it
YouTube.
sucks. Oh, true. Oh my god, lol. Yes, so funny. But yeah, I think that time when I was like, oh, I've worked so hard for this,
Yeah.
and I'm still just getting rejected, and my friends were booking jobs or getting so much closer than I
Yeah.
was, and I felt so out of control. And then I feel like stand up, like you have control to a certain degree.
You have so much
but
control.
it's like it's me up there.
Yeah.
I'm doing the writing.
Mhm.
I can show up to the gigs. I can like show up to open mics and stuff like that. I feel like you see the fruits of your work. Whereas sometimes with musical theatre, I was like, I'm not seeing the fruits of the work that I've put
Yeah.
in, and it feels like throwing shit at a wall.
Yeah, the one thing that I really love about stand-up is no matter, like, I mean, right now, this festival, I feel like I'm not selling as many tickets as I would like, and that's frustrating.
Yeah.
But every night you still get to go on stage, and there's some people there, and you're like, fucking let me do the show to these people. How lucky
Yeah.
am I? I get to do the thing, and you get another roll of the dice. You start again at 0, and you get to just do it. you know?
Totally.
How did you deal with that when you were figuring out that you like? Because I guess I don't want to project onto you like drinking was my thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any other ways that you deal with that fear, or did you even realize at the time that you?
No, I don't know. I don't think I think I was just like, working. I've always worked a lot. Like, I don't even think post-COVID I've gotten to the level of like work that I was doing, like, and stupid work. Like I was like double booking myself.
Right.
I would forget to invoice people. I was like not. So it was like fucking
Not
pointless.
working, just being busy.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
It was it's stupid. And so I think that I would like just distract myself with lots of work and lots of I'm probably just like going out and drinking and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Which
fair.
I was like, but I don't know, kind of I do remember getting to a point where I remember waking up one day and I was like, oh fuck, what happened last night? I was checking my phone. I was like, did I message anyone? Did I do anything embarrassing? Because I was the queen of a drunk message for a long time. And
What kind of drunk messages are we talking? Like, message your friends, I love you.
yeah, and also messaging people that I was like seeing at the time or like wanted to see, or like pretending to like, and just also just like I don't know, uploading like 60 Instagram stories and stuff like just real cringe shit. And I would wake up and I'm like, fuck, what did I do?
Yeah.
And then like I realized that I was like, oh, all I did last night was like babysit, and I like came home. I just like for a brief moment forgot that I didn't even have a drink last night, but I was like, I can't wake up like this again. I've just been like, what did I do? Or like I'd wake up and like a clue that I'd got too maggoted was that like my hair was curly because I'd usually straighten my hair before I went out, and I'd be like, what happened? And like I think I feel like my early 20s, which I feel like might be similar to you or to other people, is that like you push it to the extremes, or like I embarrassed like the first time I did like MDMA and stuff like that was a really terrible night out for anyone who was with me.
Really?
and just like all this shit where I've like pushed it too far and then reined it back.
Yes.
Which is not ideal. But
that's absolutely the pattern of my entire life. dude.
Yeah.
I do one bad thing too far, rein it back, and then it slowly starts to creep out again. And then you
Yes.
fuck up, and then you go back, and it's that cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just see how far you can push it.
Yes, man. I can push it.
Which is crazy. I'll push it further. And then the worst part is when like you get away with it more than you think.
Yes.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, I've been crushing this. No one's even noticing that
Let's
I'm a
keep
piece of
going.
shit. No one's noticed. I
Nobody
can just
can
be a piece of shit
tell.
forever. So I feel like we're almost at the end of our drinks here. How's your relationship with booze now?
Pretty good, I think. I really like alcohol. For me, it works really well. Like I feel like I have control over it as well.
Yeah.
And I drink in a social setting, but I also love when I decide not to have a drink as well.
Yeah.
Or like, I feel like that is good. I also feel like I'm not crossing that threshold as much anymore as well, because I think it's everybody has like a different, I think, point to when they think it is like an issue for them.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also think it's fun to like, not fun, but it's interesting to think about like what a problem with alcohol is, because it might not be that you're getting blackout drunk. It might just be that you're like a mean drunk.
Yeah.
And like you're not.
Yeah.
And or you get angry all the time and stuff like that. And that's just not the right energy to be around. Because what does it do? It like increases your testosterone levels by like 200% if you're if you're a boy, and then for girls, like if you have like female hormones and stuff like that, or similar to it, it increases your testosterone by like 300% or whatever. So that's why like you do drunk texting and stuff like that, because you feel so bold. This is why men get into fights and things. And like this is all very like binary, but women tend to feel like the same amount of confidence as men with alcohol, because they're finally at the same level of testosterone as them. So it's like, I sort of understand how, why it makes people react certain ways. But I drink pretty regularly. And then I also, I'll go through periods of time where I'm like, I haven't had a drink in like a month.
Yeah, without even really noticing.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool.
It's interesting that you say about the way, it's interesting to think about what a problem with alcohol looks like, because I've been thinking, and I guess the whole reason I'm doing this podcast is to try and explore that question with a bit of even-handedness. I feel like a lot of the discourse around not drinking is just like, I feel so much better, it's incredible, I'm amazing. And it's just like, is it all like that though? Yeah. And is drinking necessarily bad? Like, it doesn't have to be bad. But I think for me, it's like about the choice. Like if you're drinking, but you're choosing to drink, like there's nothing inherently wrong with drinking until you're blacked out. But if you did that accidentally and it keeps happening, that's maybe a problem. But if you're like, I feel like shit, I need to forget, let me have 100 drinks and pass out and vomit everywhere, because that'll just, for now, fine, make that choice. That's like, like if you're making the choice, if you're conscious of what you're doing. But if you're like, I want to have one drink, and then 3 days later you're like, man, my fucking knees hurt or whatever. Yeah.
My partner's just found out that they're allergic to alcohol.
Oh, whoa.
Which is like so funny, because they had this like chronic illness that ended up in then having like brain surgery, because while they were getting all these tests done, they found this like hectic cyst on Kayla's brain that had to be like they had to pin it out. It was really intense, and like then that wasn't solving the problem. And then Kay's like, I mean, it's still yet to be confirmed, but Kay's just stopped drinking from like the start of this year, and they haven't felt that sick again. And it's like,
so the cyst was from drinking?
No. So the cyst was just a separate issue.
Just a separate
that
cyst.
Arose amongst all the tests to find out what the problem was.
Okay.
So like, because they were just doing all these blood tests, and then they did like the GP was like, should we throw in a CT scan? And then they did. Found this cyst, operated on that. Turns out the cyst had nothing to do with anything. It was just there.
It was just a cyst.
It was just a cyst. Like,
had a benign cyst?
Yeah. And it
wasn't fucking with some stuff or no?
It was right behind their eyes. So it was pushing on their occipital nerves. That's why they operated, because they were like, if this bursts, you'll be blind. Like, that's what's going to happen, which is so intense. So they were like, we're doing this now. And we were like, will it help with the nausea? And they were like, maybe you're going to go blind. Like, let's do this. And then Kay's just stopped drinking alcohol and has felt so much better, because it like turns out they were kind of going into like a state of anaphylaxis.
Wow.
Which is insane.
What's that? Is that like the diabetes thing?
No, it's like a anaphylactic shock a bit. You can get nausea and vomiting, which is what was happening
when they were drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like one drink and they would be like quite drunk. Like they were like, I was like super lightweight.
Yeah.
And then they would like vomit after like 2 glasses of rosé, and I was like, that's not.
Does that mean regular. They can drink? Can they drink 0.5%, like the ultra low ones, or even that out the door?
I don't don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like it's still like early on. Maybe they could.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like the low percentage might be good. But
That's a super interesting thing, man.
it's so wild.
I have never really heard about alcohol like allergicness
Yeah.
until like super recently. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right?
Yeah, sick.
I get like do you think you could be allergic to any alcohol or anything?
No, I don't think so. I'm just a fuckhead, honestly. I can like I'd love to be like that's the reason. There
That's
wasn't any
it.
choices that I made.
No.
No, because I would drink like a fair bit.
Yeah.
And like I would some nights be fine, but it's when I think I drink just the anxiety, which is why I love the alcohol-free drinks so much. Because like just the anxiety of being around people in an like unmitigated social situation where you're like, I don't know who I'm talking to. Do I talk in the group? Everyone's talking, or do I just be quiet or what? So I'll just drink to cover that anxiety.
Yeah.
And then before I know it, I've had like 4 or 5 beers in like 2 hours.
Even just having something to hold. is
Yeah.
half of it, or having a reason to leave a conversation
Yes.
too. Like,
Yes. Which is why a Coke is bad.
Yes.
Because that's like, I don't know. It's just not the same.
It's unsavory.
Yeah.
It looks fucking psycho.
It's a red flag.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, look, I think we're almost done, but what did you think about any final notes, tasting notes on the
I
imposter?
really loved that. I thought that was
Yeah.
a really yummy drink. I've enjoyed it more with the tonic.
Yeah.
But I've never been a huge like straight gin unless it's like a specific kind of like gin that's like Shiraz gin or something like that that's supposed to be. But like that tonic, that gin together.
It was so tasty, man.
mwah,
I'm surprised
beautiful.
and excited by how good it was. I liked the gin by itself. It was
I'm
kind of
excited.
burny. I'm
Yeah.
excited, mate.
Yes.
I'm fired up. Yeah, I would probably drink that again and maybe
I
even buy
would.
it.
That
Fuck
was
yeah,
great.
dude. Do you got anything you want to plug?
When's this coming out?
Probably June.
Sick. Nah.
Do you have anything online? Oh, you got your pod with Garnham?
Oh yeah. Lewis Garnham and I have a podcast called Good Graph that we're definitely gonna do again.
Uh-huh.
And then I have Sex and the Sex in the Sex, which is a Sex in the City podcast.
That's
and
right.
Then Pop Gaze, which is like a pop culture podcast as
You're
well.
all over the pods, mate.
All over it, which is so funny because they're all in hiatus right now.
Oh,
Like we're all
perfect.
having a break.
Yeah,
and then
yeah, sick. And what's your Instagram, or like where can people find you online?
at jbar_666.
Killer. And you can find me at Aidan Jones Comedy. And again, thanks to A&A Drinks. If you're liking the pod, 5 stars, iTunes, Spotify, do all of that shit. And we'll catch you next time. Thank you very much, Jordan.
Thank you.
I've been
Bye-bye.
Aidan Jones, and I'm still not drunk.